Kyler Murray tweeted, "Moving forward, I'm firmly and fully committing my life to becoming an NFL quarterback." He went on to explain how much he loves football and he was raised to be a football player. But he announced that he's going to be an NFL quarterback. And that led to some NBA-style drama from our man, Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter sent a follow-up tweet. Oklahoma QB Kyler Murray chose Eric Burkhart as his agent, per sources. Burkhart also represents Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury, who said last fall he would take Murray if he had the #1 pick. Jalen Rose, who has the #1 pick this year in the draft?
The Cardinals.
And who's the head coach?
Kingsbury.
And Kingsbury's agent is the same agent as who?
Kyler Murray.
And what does this mean for Josh Rosen?
It's a
shame. The quarterback they drafted just last year.
A shame what happened to Josh.
Shame what happened to Josh. Josh, I hope you didn't buy a house in
Correct.
Phoenix. Phoenix is a great place to retire. Maybe you can hold on to it.
It's a perfect example why, as a young player, when you get picked somewhere, you should establish yourself and see where your trajectory is going before you actually purchase a home there, unless you know that that's somewhere you want to live in the offseason or it's a great investment. With that being said, Kyler Murray, to me, playing football was a no-brainer for this sheer reason. He's a quarterback. If he was a running back, if he was a wide receiver, if he was a linebacker, then you consider a lot stronger to play baseball for all of the obvious reasons that come with that sport. And so when you get a chance to draft in the top 10 in both sports, it says what an amazing athlete you are.
Yep.
But if you're going to get drafted that high as a quarterback, they're going to give you an opportunity to be successful. And therefore, he's going to choose that sport that they're doing a better job of protecting the health of people that play that position.
They're protecting the health. Obviously, he gets a chance to perform immediately, whereas in baseball, you get developed through the minor leagues and whatnot. But there's a very, very high ceiling and a low floor for Kyler Murray. And I've got some numbers to sort of demonstrate that. Now, obviously, first in football, QBR. First in football, 20-yard completions. Third in football in passing touchdowns. However, there's very much concern about his height. He's listed at 5'10", maybe shorter than that. The only quarterback listed at 5'10" or shorter since the 1970 merger to attempt a pass is Doug Flutie. So since 1970, there's been one quarterback at his height to attempt a pass. How much would that concern you if you were drafting?
It would concern me. It definitely would, because when you take a quarterback that high, obviously that's going to decide whether you keep your job really long or not. But he's shown to be such a talented performer and so fast, and the game has changed so much since Flutie Magic, who, by the way, people dismiss what he did. He had some success.
Oh, he had a lot of success.
I remember watching Doug Flutie play really well when he got the opportunity. And that's when the shoulder pads were a lot more boxy.
He had a long career.
No question about it. That's when people wear pads that were a lot heavier and thicker. So based on what Kyler's able to do, if you accentuate his strengths, I still feel like he has an opportunity to be as dynamic as somebody that I saw play for the Falcons named Michael Vick.
We have some other news about signings in the NFL, but this is not breaking news. This is broken news.
To everyone else, it's breaking news. To Jalen and Jacoby listeners, it's broken news.
Now it's going to be time, unfortunately, for those, and this is a comfortable conversation, for him to now play in the NFL again.
Like, we will see Kareem Hunt back on fantasy teams, back on NFL football teams, I would say with probably next season. Well, guess what? It's the offseason, and Kareem Hunt has signed a one-year deal with the Browns. Now, when you sign someone who has done what Kareem Hunt has done, you have to talk about it into a microphone, and GM John Dorsey did just that. Let's listen.
I just want to let everybody know that we have done extensive research with regards to this case, this player. And at the end of it, one thing we did find was he understands and takes full accountability the egregious act that he committed. He is extremely remorseful for his actions. By no means, from an organizational standpoint, is this a guarantee of anything. As we all know, trust has to be earned, and that has to be earned with the Cleveland Browns organization and the community of Cleveland moving forward. So this will be a day-to-day thing in terms of earning trust.
As a member of the media and a former athlete, these conversations are always tricky because there is a lot to unpack. First, I want to show remorse, respect, and sympathy for the woman that he assaulted.
Of course.
Because that's exactly what that is.
We saw it.
What ends up happening is we're debating whether he should play in the NFL a lot again because the judicial system doesn't come down heavy on people who commit acts like this.
They did not come down at all. This was investigated by the police department, and they did not press any charges.
And so now, do you stop somebody from making a living who the court system didn't indict and they didn't necessarily punish? And so now you look to the NFL to do what the court of law did not do. And so the NFL is going to enact a suspension that some people call stiff, which a 10-game, 12-game, one season isn't.
Nope.
Because he's a young player, he's a running back, he's not taking a pounding on his body. Eventually, he's going to return to play. Also, I want to make a distinction. This is not a he say, she say case.
No.
Because I make sure that when those happen, then I like to reserve judgment because there's always two sides of each story. But since this isn't,
there's one side to video.
The reason why we both echoed that he would play again is because he's good at football. And he's still in his prime. Greg Hardy got a second chance. Ezekiel Elliott got suspended. Tyreek Hill, who Mr. Dorsey also drafted with Kansas City, had his issues in the past. So what's the distinction? We came on our show one day. The NFL had Tyreek Hill on the cover of their .com page.
Yes. It was also their Twitter avatar.
Because he was really good at football and returning kicks. And then they realized the backlash they got from people, and then they took it down. But now, since the Kansas City Chiefs are so very good, we are here left to decide, does that man deserve an opportunity to make a living? Does Kareem Hunt deserve the opportunity to make a living? Our country is not better if we don't give second chances and we don't give people a chance to take care of themselves and or those that they love. So it becomes now we need to debate where the level of punishment should come down because the court system ultimately did not punish him.
Exactly. At some point, it shouldn't be left for the NFL or the Browns